friends. So I woke up as usual early in the morning and I joined the daily rhythm of life. Everyone was consumed with work. Scholars were getting ready to get to school earlier. Those who work, our parents and my big brother, were also getting ready to get to their workplaces earlier than the jam. The birds also sang their hymns as usual. The sky was such a beautiful scenery to look at. It began to glow as the flaming orb, which is the sun, started rising from its horizon, and it ignited it and it caused it to burst into a bright, passionate mix-up of scarlet and yellow. The awe-inspiring sun warmth, ladies and gentlemen, was a refuge from the chilly bite of the morning breeze. You know what I'm talking about. Now, as I embarked on my journey to school, I had some money to bank before getting to school. Now, there are center agents for Centenary Bank where we can easily deposit money, onto our accounts than going to the bank usually, because in the banks there are long queues. Those of you who bank with Centenary, you're witness. Trisha, you know much. You know better what I'm trying to talk about, and the rest. Now, there's this center agent which is close to where I stay. So I passed by it, and as I was passing by it, there's a little still small voice that whispered, "Deposit the money from here." You know that little still small voice that will tell you is usually dubbed something. Something told me not to pass there. Something told me not to go with this guy. Something told me not to get entangled into this deal. Something. That little still small voice, I had it, but I did not listen to it. So I passively moved on to my favorite Centenary branch alongside Ntebe Road as you're sloping next to ShopRite, Clock Tower, around there. And it's my favorite currently because I encountered a hospitable, stupendous, kind and caring bank teller whose names are Nakauchi Scholastica. Now, this lady was such hospitable, and her hospitality caught my attention. From time forth, that is going to be my bank branch for Centenary. Kudos to Scholastica. If anyone knows her, I appreciate. Please help me pass on to her the message. I appreciate. By the way, we need to be kind to everyone at any time, at any specific moment, because you just don't know whose life it's going to be forever memorable. Now, upon reaching the bank, I found a very long queue of people. The network was very slow, surprisingly. I don't know what had happened. You know those moments, strange moments. So I started contemplating and regretting. Why didn't I listen to that still small voice? Why did I just come here? Why didn't I listen and bank from home? I would be at school right now. And I started regretting and blaming myself for not having listened to that still small voice. I moved out of the bank. I looked for center agents around the area. I found that their networks were also off, so I had to sheepishly come back into the bank. I stood for some good time, and thank God I was able to spot a lady who's a center agent within the bank. So I went to her and I asked, Nyavo, network years ago. I was like, Madam, has your network come back? That's in English. And then she was like, yeah, it's back miraculously. She worked on me joyously because she had seen me standing there for some time. Yeah, so she worked on me. And then this reminded me of a very important, intricate lesson with God and the children of Israel at some point in their life. You know, Israel had detached, they had disconnected from God at some point in their journey of life. They had detached from God. Things were happening around them, maybe to show them that there is something that is disconnected from their Creator, and they didn't even care. Things were happening around them and they didn't even pay attention about anything. There was that moment where they couldn't hear God anymore, where they were disconnected. Isaiah 42 verses 25 actually says, "Therefore he has poured unto him, Israel, the fury of his anger and the strength of battle, and it has set him on fire round about. Yet he knew not, and it burned him yet he laid it not. So they were at this moment in life, at this point in life, where things were happening and they did not even realize that, hey, maybe God is trying to tell us something. Maybe we have disconnected from a certain place. But this is what is most interesting and intriguing about God. In Isaiah 43, the continuation, he says in verses number 1, "But thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine." Yes, I know you did silly things. Yes, I know you took silly decisions. Yes, I know you acted funny, but you are mine. Now verses 2 says, "When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burnt, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee." Yeah, I know you landed yourself there. You took some silly decisions. You disconnected. You detached. You refused to listen to me when I was trying to instruct and lead you. Yes, I know you entered recklessly into that relationship. Yes, I know you went into this guy and probably you got a certain disease. Probably this and this happened. Funny things happened. Yes, I know you made silly decisions, and that those decisions have led you into a certain corner of isolation and condemnation and blaming yourself. But because you're there, and you are mine, let's go. That is how interesting and fascinating and unconditionally God's love is. He always comes through to make a way for us. He always comes through to make a way for his own. Now, I know we all make silly decisions, we make wrong choices. At times we follow the peer pressure, at times we follow our ego, at times we make wrong decisions because of culture and what is trending on social media. And oftentimes we find ourselves in places where we are under condemnation, where we are blaming ourselves, where we are regretting. And oftentimes it's because we have ignored to listen to that still small inner voice that is trying to lead us into a better, greener pastures. But because we are there and we are God's own people, he comes for us. God's unconditional love will always come through to pave a way for you and I through it all. Roman actually says, "What shall separate us from the love of God? Shall peril, shall nakedness, shall things above, shall things below, shall angels, or shall people here, shall our parents, shall our wrong decisions, shall distress, shall condemnation separate us from the love of God?" And the answer is that definitely nothing. Nothing can separate us from the love of God. Therefore, I want us to be as humble as possible, to be led and to receive the love of God in its fullness and entirety, and also choose to see that God will always pave a way for us to get out of any situation that we have finally gotten ourselves into. So be encouraged, wonders. Listen to that inner still small voice. You know what I'm talking about because you have encountered it. And what have you come out of recently? Leave the comment sections busy. God bless you. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.